Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and today we're doing another pick a card. Before I get into the pick a card, I do just want to say a really big thank you and just express my gratitude for all of your lovely words in regards to my cat Softy. I didn't think it was going to take that much out of me. I knew it was going to be hard. Didn't think it was going to take that much out of me, but your words and just the love that you guys have been sending me, it's really helped. So I just want to say a really big thank you to all of you for that. So getting into this reading today, we are going to be, I wanted to connect you guys to like your inner child and really do like a cool little twist. I've been thinking for a while about like doing a pick a card in regards to, you know, kind of collaborating in the sense of like with movies and music and kind of taking a look at, you know, if you were in a movie, what would your movie be like? What would your character arc be like? What would the songs be like? What would be the setting? And I've been dabbling with that, and I just felt like right now would be a really good time to do that. I just felt really called to. So what we're actually doing is we are taking a look at your energy throughout your life, the character traits that you have, and how that would pan out in a movie and what your movie would be. If you had a Disney movie based off of your life, how would that go down? Who would you be? So I will be channeling that for you guys today. I've got a lot of oracle cards and, you know, tarot cards here to channel that, but I'll also be channeling a song which will be like your theme song to your movie, which I'm gonna have linked in the description. And the main, I would say, clip, because I asked Spirit to show me a lot of like video footage of like different movies and stuff, and whatever comes up the strongest, or what Spirit wants to kind of represent as what you would be like in a movie, I'm gonna have a clip of that too in the description box for you guys to like watch after the reading as well. So it's gonna be quite interesting. I'm excited to see how it all pans out. This is something quite like different than what I've usually done, but I just felt the need to do a little bit of a escapism video and like, you know, connecting to the inner child and all of that. So yeah, we're gonna be doing that. So we have 4 piles in front. Pile number 1 is the shell. Pile number 2 is the angelite crystal. Pile number 3, let's get that nice and tidy. Pile number 3 is the feather. And pile number 4 is the apple. This apple actually tells the weather with the liquid inside of it. Just thought I'd, you know, let you know. But yeah, pile number 4 is the apple. So see which object, which crystal, which whatever you're drawn to, and I will see you guys at your timestamp. Hey pile number 1, welcome to your reading. So we're going to be taking a look at, if you had a Disney movie based off of you, what would it be? What would your character be? What would you be getting up to? So you guys chose this beautiful shell. I'm going to pop that up here and we are going to get straight in. Straight away, guys, when I was opening it up to your collective, it literally looked like an enchanted forest. And then, do you know when you have vines like hanging down? I just saw someone running through them. So I feel like a lot of the basis of your movie would be set in either a forest or some sort of enchanted forest, or somewhere where there was a lot of nature. And I feel like there'd be like a lot of emphasis on like nature spirits, spirits that, how do I explain this? You know, like when you see Moana and she has those little lights that kind of like guide her into the ocean, and you see Brave and she has those little, I don't know what they were called, those little, I think they were called nymphs or something. I don't know, I may be wrong. They were just these little white orbs that guided her through the forest. I feel like there'd be a lot of that. Like you'd be very connected to that, and not just the energy and the spirit of Mother Gaia herself, but you'd be connected to the spirits of the ancestors on that land, the, you know, the spirits of the trees. Like you'd be able to see beyond in some sort of way, and that'd be a really strong, hearty connection to the earth around you, you know what I mean, to the plants around you, to the animals around you. When I'm shown, you know, like in a lot of Disney movies, they'll have a companion. For some reason, I'm being shown like a little rabbit. I don't know why. Maybe you guys have a little rabbit, but it's almost this companion of like a rabbit. Some princesses, some Disney movies, they'll have like an animal or something that's like a sidekick, I feel that you would be human, but you'd have like an animal sidekick, or even like a spirit animal sidekick or something like that. I'm also being shown tigers as well, so take that as it resonates. So let's get in. I'm going to start with tarot, and then we'll move on to the oracle cards. I'm not going to lay too much tarot, maybe like 3 or 4 depending on what comes out, and then I'll just do the rest as oracle and just channel. So pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1. If pile number 1 had a Disney movie, what would it be? I feel like you'd definitely be like one of like the princess movies. Like, I'm not picking up anything like Finding Nemo, like, you know, Disney, Pixar, or anything like that. I don't feel it would be Pixar. I feel like it would definitely be a princess movie, whether you're a male or female, it'll be something like that. But I don't feel it would be in the sense of, you know, the princesses that just, no offense, didn't do much. They just kind of waited for like a prince. Your energy is not on no prince. Like, you're more of like the Moana. Who else was like this? Tiana. I know there was a prince there, but she wasn't focused on him. Like, there'd be an energy of that. Mulan. Yeah, there'd be that essence. You'd be more, I feel like your arc would be more like finding your heart, or finding your soul, or finding something that you find resonance with. I feel like that would be kind of like the plot of the story. But definitely in the sense of like princesses, but not the olden day princesses, one that, you know, they're very connected. You know, like that movie Raya and the Last Dragon, and, you know, all those type of movies where they're more on a quest. I feel like you'd be one of those beings, whether you were like prince, princess, or just some sort of like warrior. Like, you would be on a quest of some sort. That's what you'd be like. I'm also being shown dragons as well. Yeah, a little bit of as well, like, if I had to give this a mix so far, I would do like Brave and Moana mixed with a little bit of like Spirited Away, Chihiro, when she goes to like the afterworld and all that. There's a feeling of that as well. I'm hearing Braveheart as well. Braveheart. Pile number 1. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. If they were in a Disney movie, if they had a Disney movie about them, what would they be? What would their character be like? Oh, it would be a musical. I'm hearing music. We have the 4 of Cups. I'm hearing music. There would be a lot of songs. I know a lot of like Disney films and films in general will have a song, but I feel like you would break out into song a lot, just because I feel like you, in your natural life anyway, you listen to music a lot. I feel like you may have like a playlist where you listen to songs to represent your feeling, the way that you're feeling in that moment, or you'll just like, you'll allow music to guide you, or a lot of your heart is in music. So I feel like music would play a really big part, whether it was a musical, whether you would just break out into song like a lot of those movies do, or maybe it was something to do with music, a music that you'd make in that movie. There's something to do with that. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1. If they had a Disney movie, yeah, there's almost this energy, 9 of Swords. Again, it's making me feel that kind of like Moana, Brave energy, where you're kind of like, what's the girl from Brave? Mereditha. Like, they're not satisfied with something that they have to do, so then they go out and find their own kind of like happiness. They go out and find their own peace. They go out and go on their own quest of finding something that kind of connects them to their heart. There's something about that. Pile number 1, the Disney movie for pile number 1, what would it be like? What would their character be like? What would their character be like? It's also referencing to me as well in the sense of like Pocahontas, when she sings Just Around the River Bend, like, should I marry Cocoam? Is all my dreaming at its end? It's like, do I need to stay in this place when nothing really resonates with me and nothing lights me up on a hard space, or should I follow my heart and take that journey and find that connection within myself? What should I do? There's a feeling of that, a feeling of being trapped in some way, a bit of like Rapunzel, but I feel like there's almost this feeling of, I feel like if you had a Disney movie, it would be centered around the sense of like, should I conform to maybe like this royalty, or should I conform to this life that the people around me want me to lead, or should I, you know, go into this kind of like wonderland and kind of like chase my dreams and find what lights me up? Because there's almost they're showing me like a feeling of like, you having like an ordinary life and then you escaping into some sort of forest, and it's almost a little bit like Narnia, and you like escaping into that like essence and being in that kind of like enchanted land. There's something about that, like you escaping somewhere. And should I like continue to go down this like rabbit hole? Should I continue to go into like Narnia? Should I continue to do that and find, you know, like myself that way? Or should I just go back to being trapped inside a box? Like, what should I do? You know what I mean? There's something about that. Should I take the risk? There's something about risks. Will it pay off? Pile number 1. I feel like your color scheme as well, there's a lot of yellows coming through, like a lot of golds, a lot of yellows. So, you know, they always have that kind of costume that's like their costume. I feel like yours would be like golds and yellows. And also I'm being taken to like earthy colors, so like browns and greens, so like yellows and browns and greens, those type of colors. I don't know why I'm being shown like a forest with like berries on them. It just feels very enchanted, like that, very enchanted. Pile number, oh, your card just fell on the floor. Pile number, yeah, look at that, look at all these sad cards. It's like, but with the eye here with the 3 of Swords, it's almost like I kind of like, I know the way. I'm feeling trapped in, I'm feeling hurt, I'm feeling stuck, but like my soul knows the way, my intuition knows the way. So I'm going to chase that, I'm going to follow that. One more card and we'll pop into your oracle cards. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1. If pile number 1 had a movie based off of them, a Disney movie based off of them, what would the story arc be? What would the story arc be? We literally have the 8 of Cups. It's like, I'm going to journey, I'm going to leave, I'm going to take this risk, and I'm going to journey away. With the Ace of Cups at the back of the deck, it's like, I'm going to journey to find my fulfillment. And I feel like that would kind of be like the beginning of the movie. I'm going to find my fulfillment. I'm going to follow that light. You know what I mean? And it's almost a sense of like, I'm literally being shown like a scene. They're literally directing a movie for me here. I didn't think it would go like this, but it's quite cool how they're showing me. It's almost this energy of like, actually, let me put these here. It's almost this energy of you escaping away to this like a enchanted forest or this enchanted like place, and every time you go there you wander off a little further than before, and then something may happen that triggers you and you're like, I can't take this anymore, and then you just journey further than you've ever gone. And I feel like, again, they're coming through like nature spirits or like spirits, like they come through and they kind of like guide you to kind of journey beyond and kind of get lost in that world and, you know, find your way through that world. There is a feeling of that with this Ace of Cups here. And there is almost a feeling as well of like a parallel world in a sense, like you having to save like another world of some sort. You know what, let me think of a movie, because I know there's been movies where this has happened. I've just got to think of the actual movie. You know, have you ever watched Bridge to Terabithia? And they kind of like have to save, I'm sure, I can't remember Bridge to Terabithia properly, but you know when they go over that ramp and then they go into that world and then they almost have to like save some sort of kingdom that isn't their own place. Even like in Avatar, when he goes to Pandora and he has to save, you know, he helps like save their Na'vi from having their home destroyed. There's a feeling of that, like you finding your home somewhere else and feeling super connected to it and knowing you were connected there all along and having to like save that and having to like join those like people, but they're so different to where you came from and the family you came from. There's a feeling of that, finding yourself in a different community or finding yourself in a different world in which your heart resonates, and then it's like you kind of have to like save that world in some way, or you know what I mean, guide or help in that place. So there's almost a feeling of like you go to that place and it's almost like Harry Potter, like you're known as someone in that place. Do you understand what I mean? You go to that enchanted world and all of these beings come and it's like they know you. And they're like, oh, you know, you're famous or you're royalty or something like that. And you're like, whoa, I don't know any of these people. There's almost like a feeling of that, but like you would have forgotten it. I hope this is making sense. I hope this plot is making sense, but that's how it almost feels. You kind of have to step into that role and be courageous and be brave and all of that for your people in that other world. Hope it's making sense. Let's pull some oracle cards and get deeper. What should we go for first? Let's do a spirit animal deck first. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1. If pile number 1 had a Disney movie, if pile number 1 had a Disney movie, about them? What would the story arc be? What would the story arc be? Oh, let's put them nice and tidy. I love how it's all like pain, boredom, frustration, I'm walking away, I'm finding my heart. I love that. We have nothing is wasted. The vulture spirit. Yeah, there's almost this feeling of like where you came from, the people always conform, the people were always seeing things in black and white, and it's like I have all this joy, all this heart, all of this adventure within my soul. I don't want that to go to waste. Like, I need to like find somewhere where that connects, and I feel like that energy of those nature spirits is like calling you to that other world that you kind of like travel to and go to, and you find your home there, you find your like solace there, you find your heart there, you know what I mean? Do I pull another card from here, or shall I use the different oracle cards? No, I'll use one and then we'll go back. We also have the brown bear spirit, take time out. Yeah, it's like wanting to get away from the world that you currently belong to, wanting to get away from that. With the number 9 here, when we think of number 9, that's like the 9th house, is like long distance travel. You know what I mean? It's like higher education. It's like you're wanting something deeper. You're wanting to go further than you have been. You're wanting to get out of this place where you've been stuck in for so long. You want to find adventure. You know what I mean? You want to have that optimism for life and apply it. You know what I mean? You don't want it wasted. And I feel like that's something that is a big plot in regards to the movie that you would have. Let's pull the goddess cards. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1. What would the energy of that character be like? Pile number 1, spirit guides. What would pile number 1's character energy be? You would be the main character, by the way. Pile number 1, what would the energy be? What energy would they take on? What type of character would they be? I just keep picking up like Moana, like strong-minded but being guided by the heart, which is where that strength kind of comes from. Moana. Why did I just say Moana? Pile number 1. Instead of saying pile number 1, I went Moana. Pile number 1. Spirit's adamant on there being like a connection to the Moana movies. Pile number 1. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1. Yeah, there's almost this energy of you battling. It's like you go into this other world and then it's on like another journey itself, because it's like everyone around you remembers me being someone or can see my courage or see my heart, whereas like I don't see that in myself yet, because where I was back home, they almost treated me like a child, or treated me like I wasn't good enough, or maybe I was known as like clumsy in that world. But in this world, all of those traits that they deemed as negative and back home, they're actually my strength in this world. They're actually my strength in this spirit world, in this enchanted world that I've just come into, and everyone can see that in me, and everyone's like wanting me to guide them and help them or go on this journey, but it's almost like I don't see it in myself. And there could be times in the movie then where you feel like you want to give up, you want to quit because you're not up to the challenge, but then there's just this feeling of like your heart, and I feel like everyone around you, it keeps you going, and I feel like you find your strength and courage through that, and you're no longer that clumsy person. That person didn't fit in. It's like you were that leader, you were that great leader, you were that person with that brave heart. They keep saying brave heart. You were that person, and I feel like that kind of like guides you. And I feel like maybe you go into some sort of spirit realm like Spirited Away, because I almost feel like ancestors from the past, or spirits from the past would almost like guide you in a way. Or again, it could be the spirit animals kind of guiding you, because there's a feeling of that, like them egging you on and things. There's almost a feeling of that. Yeah, there's a strong reference with Moana, and I don't know much about Moana, but I know she went into the ocean and then she like was gonna get the heart of Te I've watched it a few times, but not enough to know the plot of by heart. And I know she like voyages across the sea to bring that heart back, and it's in some ways connected to her. I can't remember what it was, but there's something like that. So I feel like the movie that, if I could put you next to like a Disney movie already existing, it would be Moana. But there's almost like feelings of like Bridge to Terabithia and Brave mixed in with it, with also a little bit of Spirited Away. It's all kind of interconnected like that. And I feel like even in the home world that you would have come from, you still saw the beauty in that. You connected to the nature spirits there. You connected to the, that felt more resonant to you than like the physical things in that world, Pile number 1. What would pile number 1's character be like? What would pile number 1's character be like? Communion, yeah. It's like you see the beauty in all things. You see the strength in all things. Remember I was saying like yellows and golds, and she's literally like yellow and gold here. But with communion, it's like you care for your people. I feel like as you go into that, you know, spirit world, it's like they all care for like the environment they're living on, very much like Avatar. They're connected to the trees and each other, and there's such a communion there, so you feel more like you belong there, you feel more connected there, which is why you allow your heart to like guide you to kind of like save the day there in some sort of way. I feel like there would have been a threat there, and you kind of go there to save the day in some sort. That's why we have communion there, because you really care for others. I feel like you have really strong empathy. Maybe in the world that you came from, your kindness, your sweetness, your heart would be taken for a weakness. You had to be strong and bold. Maybe you had to be someone that was like royal or somebody that made a lot of money, so your compassion in that world was deemed as weak. Whereas in this world that you go to, your compassion and all of that, it's deemed as a strength, and the greatest strength that you could have. Your heart in that world is deemed as like the gold and the riches, you know what I mean? Whereas where you went back home, what was deemed as the gold and the riches was your maybe status or your money. So there's a feeling of that, like everything that was taken for weakness in one place was your strength in another place, you know what I mean? And it's something like that's coming through. In the back of the deck we have focus. So like I said, very determined, but it's coming from the heart. Very, very, very determined. Let's pull some more. Pile number, I love the oranges and the golds, which I was saying. There was like, and I love how they go into browns, because it goes into the earthy tone with the green, which I was literally explaining that I was seeing. So I love how that's kind of explained the color scheme for me. Pile number 1. What would pile number 1's movie arc be? I also feel you'd be barefoot. I just see somebody running through, like, again, I'm being shown like the vines falling through, and I see somebody running in barefoot. So I feel like your character would be like barefoot, or have something very naturistic about the way that they dress. Yeah, just something like that. I feel like whether you were a boy or girl, both's coming through to have long hair. You'd have long hair either way. And just very in like a natural state. It feels like that, like a Pocahontas, or like, I think Merida and Moana herself as well. They were all very nature and, you know, connected to that. So I feel like you'd be like that. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1. If pile number 1 had a Disney movie, what would the movie act be? Ooh. We have called. I told you guys, soul gifts and training. It's time to step up. It's like turning from like child to you know, mother, father. It's like turning from like the young girl or boy into the man or woman. Like that's how it's coming through. It's like your soul's being called, so you follow. Remember I was saying about Narnia? It's kind of like the wardrobe in a way, going into that other world. It's like you're called there, but it's your heart calling you there, because your heart belongs there, and your heart's calling you there because those people need your help. So you're being called there for that reason. So when it's time to step up, it's like you learn how brave and courageous you are, and how all of these things you were taught was your weakness is actually your strength. That would be that sort of movie for you. Yeah, I'm being shown a movie clip, but I don't want to spoil it, so I'm just going to keep it in my head for now, and I'll put it as your clip. Yeah, we also have perspective. None of this matters. Zoom out. Common ground. See, with none of this matters, zoom out, common ground. It's like you see beyond. You see beyond the world that you're currently in. Do you see how it's all stars and then there's just that world? You see beyond that physical reality that you're in. You see beyond that. You see, you know in their movies, when like any Disney movie, especially if you look at like maybe Cinderella, and like she's connected to all of those animals, but like everyone around her isn't connected to the animals like that. Everyone else is like running when they see a mouse, or they just pay the animals no mind. But like Cinderella's very connected to those animals. It's like everybody's running around caring about money and status and all of that, whereas it's like you're connected to the animals, you're seeing past that. Even with like nature, like with Pocahontas when she sings Colours of the Wind, they're all trying to claim land as if it's something that you can claim. And I'm hearing that lyric from Pocahontas. You think, what is it? You think the earth is just a dead thing you can claim, but I know every rock and sea and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. It's like you see beyond that. And I feel like your movie would be in the sense of like teaching people to see beyond that, and that there's more to life, sort of thing. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. Pile number 1. Pile number 1. I used to always, it's reminding me, because when I was younger, I always used to write stories in this sort of sense. Like I would write a lot of movies and TV shows where I was like a mermaid, or I was like a fairy. I would write a lot like that and make little stories up like that on my computer. And I always thought I was going to write books, because I thought I was going to be the next J.K. Rowling. Like that's what I thought I was going to be. So this is like helping my inner child the same way it's probably helping yours. Like I'm really enjoying it. I like Spirit just showed me that in the sense of like, oh, you've come full circle type of thing. Pile number 1. Pile number 1. If pile number 1 had a movie, if pile number 1 had a movie about their life, of who they were, what would it be about? What would it be about? We literally have Warrior Woman, guys. We literally have Warrior Woman. Have you answered your deepest calling? So it would be about feeling that calling in your soul. And even though it's like it would have been easier and maybe more comfortable in a sense to stay where you were, maybe everything was made up and set for you, or maybe you could have like conformed to that, in the same way it wouldn't have been easier because your heart was calling you there. And while in the world you were in, you may have just not been seen as much or been seen as clumsy, or you have to conform because who you are isn't right. You need to change. In this world, who you are is actually what was needed. And you grow into that and you find that confidence and you find that bravery within yourself and you save the day. And you're not only like saving the day for other people, but you're saving yourself as well. You know what I mean? And finding that within you. And I feel like, especially like towards the end of the movie, you may like go back home and then apply that back home and make those changes back home. You know what I mean? Come back home with that newfound bravery and strength so you can say no and make changes where you were back home. There's a feeling of that too. So it would almost kind of like come full circle in a way. Yeah, let's look at the back of the deck. We have the Great Gathering. It's all coming together. Intuitive hits, soul tribe. Do you see all of these beings here? It's like they would have all guided you. It was almost like you were being called by them into that new world, into that, you know, into that energy. So let's take a look at your final oracle card before you guys can go look at your theme song for the movie. Pile number 1. Can you hear all those birds? The tide is in, so again, something to do with water. It could have been an underwater world you were going to. For a lot of you guys, it's more so forest or some sort of like enchanted foresty world. But for a lot of you, it could be the ocean, because when the birds flock in like that, if you ever hear that on my videos, it's because the tide's in, because I live right by the beach. And they all just went overhead because the tide's in. So could be something to do with that. Pile number 1. Pile number 1. Ooh, okay. We have Radiant Illumination. Yeah, again, remember I was telling you the gold and the yellow? It's you finding your strength, your willpower, your confidence, who you are, stepping into who you are, owning who you are, following that heart, following that creativity, finding the strength within yourself. That would be the whole movie arc, you know what I mean, of your life. In regards to a Disney movie, that's why we have the solar plexus here. It's like tapping into that, knowing that you can make a difference in the world and that it wasn't all in your head and that is part of you, and finding that bravery and that courage within you. Let's take a look at the back of your deck. We have the Violet Flame at the back of the deck, and you see how she's there, she's equipped, she's got what looks like a bow and arrow, but I don't think it is. It looks like some sort of healing wand at the same time as well. But you see her with her hands there, and she's following this kind of like energy, and the eye appears like she's following her intuition. And again, it's that energy of like celestial beings around her, spirit around her that's kind of guiding her. She knows the way because of that. They're following her back home. And I feel like that strength and that healing and that love is what kind of saves the day in the end, where there would have been a threat somewhere. It almost feels like a threat in the sense of like Avatar when they try to destroy the land. It's a feeling of that. So I feel like you would go and kind of save the day in that sense because of your heart, because of that bravery that you have, because of that. It's like you're being called there because of it, and you're very in tune with nature and the spirits and all of that. And you definitely have an animal companion with you, because that's coming through pretty strongly. So yeah, pile number 1, that is what I had for you. I really hope that you guys enjoyed. go into the description box after this and you'll be able to see your channeled theme song for your movie, and you will also have a movie clip that I resonate with this pile with, so you'll have that as well. So yeah, pile 1, I really hope that you enjoyed. I hope this was, you know, gave you a nice little bit of escapism and connection to your inner child in some way. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pile 2, welcome to your reading. So today we are going to be taking a look at what would your Disney movie about your life be like if you had one made of your life. So if you were living in the Disney world, if you were living in the movie world in general, what would the movie be about? What would your character be like? What would be going on? What would be the story arc? That's what we're going to be taking a look at. So you guys chose the Angelite. I'm going to pop that by here and we'll get straight in. Now, when I was tapping into your collective, it was funny because with pile number 1, they were very earthy, very connected to the earthy realm in some sense, right? Or just nature in general. And for you guys, I feel like your movie, sorry for the loud noises by the way guys, there's a lot of like motorbikes and cars, children screaming, all of that. So apologies for that. But what I was being told about your movie is that it would not be set on Earth at all. It would be set on either like an alien planet, so you'd be like, your character, your main character would be some sort of alien, or it would be set underwater. So it would still be on Earth, but it would be underwater in like, you know, like kind of like the Little Mermaid type of thing. It would be something like that, but either way it wouldn't be on land and it would not be on Earth. It would be like alien, it would be celestial, it would be like that. And I feel like your character, it's not coming through in the sense of looking like a human. Your character is coming through to be very attractive, very beautiful, very, you know, handsome, whatever the case, but it's in a celestial way. I see markings on the face. I feel like you'd be like a bluey color or a purpley color or like some sort of celestial color, maybe have like crystallized, you know, pieces on your body. And I feel like you'd have a lot of like unusual markings on you, like tattoos. You may like resonate as like Syrian starseeds if you you know, feel that you are one, but there's like a feeling of that, or just having some sort of like something ingrained in you, maybe like a crystal heart or like a crystal kind of like symbol on your body that I feel would be kind of like a strong point of like who you were or something. There's something about that you have in something. I don't know whether you wear a piece of jewelry or you're very connected to a particular chakra. It could be the third eye, crown chakra, throat, heart chakra, but whatever the case, that chakra that you're connected to in this life would almost be shown in the movie as like a jewel, either that you wear or it's ingrained on you. So like if you're connected to your heart chakra, you'd have a very big green jewel in the base of your heart. Or if you're connected to your throat chakra and you love to sing, if you're someone that sings, you'd have like a very light blue crystal ingrained into your throat. There's something about that. I feel like you would be very kind of like alien-y like that, and I feel like where you would come from, again, whether it's under the ocean or on another planet, would be very alien-y. There'd be lots of color, you know, lots of energies. Like it would feel very alien, especially at the beginning. It would feel that way. So let's get into tarot, because you feel like that's happening to you. You feel starseedy, you feel celestial, you feel like that, and I feel like that would be the main plot of your movie, you know. It feels like that. Pile number 2, tap me into the collective of pile number 2. What would their movie arc be if they had a Disney movie about them? What would their movie arc be if they had? You know what they're showing me? You come from a place that is very enchanted and mystical and celestial like that, but you accidentally find your way into modern day Earth. It feels a little bit like, you know, Enchanted, when she goes from that Disneyland princessy movie and then she just ends up in the real world in New York and everything's kind of crazy like that. There's almost a feeling of that, except it would be like alien wise. So like you'd kind of like fall from your ship, or you'd like go and travel. Maybe you were that kid that was always very rebellious as an alien child, or you know, a mermaid being under the sea, and it's like you'd kind of like travel to Earth, and then it's like you weren't supposed to, you were being reckless, you were just trying to go for an adventure. It's more so coming through alien-y, but there is water elements as well. You kind of crash land on Earth, and then it's like you may have to like take the form of like a human being and act as a human being when you get there, and everything feels so far from home. You can't phone home. It's kind of a little bit like E.T., except you wouldn't look like E.T. You'd look a little bit like I feel like your natural body would look a little bit like Avatar-y in a way, or just like, I don't know, I'm trying to think, put me into like show me an image of someone that I can explain. How do I explain this? It's coming through like, sorry, I'm just trying to like find an image of what you'd look like. It's kind of like they're showing me Aquamarine, where she has that coloured hair and she has like the long tail. So it's like you look human-y, but there would be different colours to you. Maybe you'd have different ears. Your ears would perk up. You know, like an Avatar, they have the cat ears. It would be something like that. And again, the markings on the body. So you'd still have the human physique, unless it was coming from the ocean, so it would be like a mermaid tail. Take what one resonates, or what you feel you'd rather be, alien, like mermaid, you know what I mean? But whatever the case, and I feel like you'd still have those earthy energies, and I feel like you'd be very attractive to, like, I guess, earthy standards in that way. And then I feel like taking the form of like a human being, there's still something quite not like humanly about you, but it's like, I'm seeing like coloured hair, and you'd still have something. Maybe you're like gem that was like connected to you, like I was saying, the heart chakra, the thought. As you turn into human, it would come through as like a necklace, you know what I mean? Like Moana, when she had that not Moana, Pocahontas, when she had that necklace. So there's something about that turning into like human form and it being a necklace. And then I see you getting like caught up or stuck then trying to be a human, and nothing makes sense to you. Like, everybody's language is different, and it's like, and when I say language, I mean the way that they do things. Again, in the sense of like Enchanted, you have this purity, or you just have this way of looking at life that, again, the people around you, like, they don't see. And I feel like you get kind of like caught up in that. There's something about that. I feel like there'd be a level of comedy to it. I feel like your movie wouldn't be so, it would still be like childlike in a way, because it's like, you know, it's Disney, but I feel like there'd be like kind of like adult themes in a way to it. It's like you're trying to learn the ropes type of thing. It's kind of like that, you know, like in Princess Diaries, when she's thrown out of her depth. She was just a normal person, and she's with all these royals, and she keeps like she's eating that ice cream and she's choking on it because it's so cold, and then, you know what I mean, everyone's looking at her like, oh my god, and then the people around her like take pity on her, the people she's made friends with, so they pretend to choke too. It's like you'd have people trying to help you, and like, you know, have like throw people like off scent, that you're not as experienced as a human as you should be. And I feel like there'd be like a lot of little moments like that within the movie, where you're just trying to do human like things, and it just doesn't work. You know what I mean? It feels like that. You still come across as like alien-y in a way. It does feel like that. Pile number two, please, spirit guides. Pile number two. What would pile number two's movie arc be if they were in a Disney movie? We have the, look at the butterflies here. Two lots of butterflies already. We have the Page of Swords and the Eight of Wands. So this journey, it would be, like I said, you would have crash landed. It's 333 on the clock if you've been seeing the number 3 a lot, just letting you know. I make note of the angel numbers just in case you guys see them. I feel like you would have been kind of like a reckless teen or child, or a reckless person before crash landing on Earth, or in, you know, on land. And then I feel like through that story you would learn the ways of like human beings, and I feel like it would have you, not in the sense like grow up, but like find a lot of yourself through those people, and find a lot of strength within yourself, if that makes sense. I'm gonna get in and see more of the story arc, but there's a feeling of like this is like an incredible kind of like growth journey for you. I feel like that would be the plot of the movie type of thing, which they're telling me is in comparison to like your energy on Earth. Not that you crash landed here and you're out of your depth, although I'm being told it does feel that way for you sometimes on Earth, like in real life. So it's kind of like a synopsis kind of that, and I feel like the way you may feel like the world is too fast paced, and it's like, whoa, this isn't like, you know, I feel like I belong to the stars. There is this feeling of like real life and that, you know, Disney life kind of comparison, where, but it would be more like, you know, you'd see you as alien and then becoming a human and learning those things, and it would be like a lot of funny moments in that sense as well. Pile number three, please, spirit guides. Pile number three, if pile, you're not pile number three, you're pile number two. Pile number two, please, spirit guides. If pile number two had a Disney movie about them, what would the story arc be? If pile number two had a Disney movie about them, what would the story arc be? We have the Seven of Pentacles. If pile number 2 had a Disney arc about them, what would it be? If pile number 2... Oh, we have the Nine of Pentacles as well. I was thinking of the Nine of Pentacles just now. So we have the Nine of Pentacles as well. It's giving me the colour scheme vibe of Doja Cat's album, Planet Her. It feels like that. You know, all the music videos she's made from that album so far, and they're all alien-y. It feels like that. I feel like you'd have that kind of aesthetic about you. We have the Ten of Wands at the back of the deck, which I will place here. Yeah, okay, Spirit Guide. So pile number 2, what would that movie story arc be? It would be like such a journey, and they keep referencing Enchanted, but then it's like, like, you know, Avatar, when the guy from Earth goes to Pandora and lives with them and tries to be one of them. It's almost like you as an alien gets placed on Earth in the same way. And you know what I'm almost being told? Earth may be some sort of like boarding school, or like a place you go when like you're naughty as a child, or where you're naughty as a teen. Because it's showing me Wild Child. If you've ever watched that, there's a girl and she's rich and she's a bit of a brat, and her name's Poppy, and she really just like causes a lot of, you know, she's very reckless, causes a lot of ish for her father, so he sends her to this English boarding school. She doesn't want to go there. She stands out like a sore thumb, but she ends up becoming one of them and growing up and loving the people around her and opening her heart. And there's almost a feeling of that. So maybe in your hometown, whether that was underwater or whether that was on an alien, you know, place, I feel like you may have been sent to Earth. Like you were going to learn to, you know, do this or do that. And then you kind of come there like an alien, and it's like you can't go home because you've been sent there. So it's like, oh my God, what do I do? And I feel like you learn the ropes like that so you can go home. And your story arc may be you trying to get back home. Almost in the sense of E.T. It's such a weird and random mix of movies that they're showing me to explain what it would be like. But then it's this sense of E.T. then, where it's like, I want to get out of Earth. How do I come home from Earth? And I feel like you may fall into like a group of people, or like you'll have a specific friend and you kind of like let them know like, look, I'm an alien, and then you may show your like true self to them, and then it's like they're like, oh my God, and then they're like on a quest to kind of help get you home. And I feel like that would be kind of the journey. But in going home, I feel like you find love. You may even find like a love connection, or you may find like a friendship with the people like on Earth, or with a specific someone on Earth. There's a feeling of that. And I see a lot of that. You try your new foods for the first time and it's like, oh my God, this human foods, you know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of that, and you just feel an alien-y, and it's like I want to go home, and at the same time you learn to love where you're at as well. And I feel like it would almost show like snapshots back to like your home planet, and like guides kind of like watching you to see how you're getting on, and like deterring you from, you know, maybe getting like ran over by a car or something like that. Like, you know, and that show me so many movies, you know, in Twitches where the two girls, they're like witches, but they have these guides that follow them around to make sure that they stay out of trouble. I feel like you'd have a guide like that, because there's a lot of humor coming from you guys. So it's like you'd have a kind of guide like that may be a little bit funny or a little bit nerdy or something, trying to like keep you out of harm's way in a way. There'd be like a lot of like jokes back and forth or something like that. There's a feeling of that, like you'd be watched over, and it would constantly flick back and forth to your guides watching you and keeping you out of harm's way, and you trying to like come home. It would be really like, I feel like yours would be really fun, and I feel like yours would be quite action packed. Pile 1 was very like whimsical in that way, whereas I feel like you would have naturally been whimsical, whereas it's like yours is very action packed and there's a lot going on, there's a lot of humor, and I feel like yours would be a roller coaster, like happiness, longing for home, finding your heart, you know what I mean, having a connection to people, humor thrown in. It just a lot of that. And there's so many movies that I'm being shown, because I just feel like naturally, even in this real life that I'm connecting you with, I feel like your mind's very action-packed. I feel like you resonate with a lot of maybe movies like that, or your mind's always on the go and aligning with different things. So I feel like that's why they're showing me so many movies and stuff, because there's so much going on here, you know what I mean? And there'd be like a lot of plot twists. You may find out a lot about yourself and things that you didn't know. There'd be like a lot of that. And I feel like it would start with this 10 of Wands, is this kind of like journey, like, oh my God, this is really hard. I see somebody with cutlery, like, how on earth do I use this cutlery? Like, with a spoon, like, what do I do with this? That type of thing. You know, when Shrek sits at that table with Princess Fiona's family and he has all those cutleries and he's like, what do I use this for? What do I use that for? And he uses it wrong. Like, there's almost like a scene of that coming through. Like, you just wouldn't know what to do with all of these things. It's like that. It's very much like that. But I feel like you grow. There's a lot of twists and turns. I feel like you grow and you find kind of like a home on earth, or you find, you know, that hearty connection to earth as well. Like, you find this like deeper meaning, and you find love with what's kind of like around you and where you know, currently are. So let's pull some more cards. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. If they had a Disney movie, what would the story arc be? If pile number 2 had a Disney movie. Trust in the magic, White Raven spirit. Trust in the magic. Okay. Yeah, so there's almost this energy of like, maybe the home that you come from, you may take a lot of what you have for granted in that sense. And I feel like coming to earth, it's like you may feel like, oh my God, all my powers have gone, all that magic's gone, or all that fun is gone. And then you realize coming to earth that magic and all of that was already inside of yourself. So you may think this world is so black and white, everyone's just going to work at their 9 to 5s, their coffees, this place is so bland. But then you learn that kind of like life's what you make it, and you find that magic within yourself, and home is where the heart is, type of thing. With these 3 hearts here, it's like home is where the heart is. There's that feeling that, you know, I was saying at the beginning, like, you may have like, again, that necklace that represents like a certain chakra, or you may have like a headpiece that represents a certain chakra. There's almost a feeling of it being very clear when you come to earth, because like you're not feeling fulfilled. And then the more you learn to love yourself, like that hat or that, you know, whatever it is, that crystal that you have on you, it starts shining brighter and brighter the more you come back to yourself, and the more you realize home is where the heart is, and your connection back home was through your heart or through your intuition, or whatever the case, it was through you could have gone back all along, but you had to find that within you first. So there's a feeling of that. It's such a, do you see how we just took a long time to get there? I feel like it would be like a long-winded movie. You know what, you watch those movies and they're really long, like the Harry Potter movies, they're like almost 3 hours, Avatar's almost 3 hours. It would be like a long movie like that. A long journey, like a really long journey. And I feel like you learn to trust yourself, and then that necklace or that gem that's like within you, I feel like it shines brighter and brighter and brighter, type of thing. You know, Nanny McPhee, when she comes in and she doesn't look very attractive, and then the more the kids are good, you know, she starts to become more attractive. It's like a feeling like that, but except like the heart would be dim, and then you kind of become more and more like yourself, like it shines brighter. The back of the deck we have, let spirit be your guide. So you're learning that spirit was within you the whole time. I feel like that would be the movie arc. It's within you. With a 3 and a 2 adding up to 5, it's changes and shifts. I feel like you'd go on such a journey with the butterflies here and the number 5. Like, you'd go on that journey of not necessarily becoming anyone different, but learning that excitement that you were searching for, that you were doing all of these reckless things, was actually within you. It was you all along. Pile number, I'm enjoying this. I was telling pile number 1, like, this is just my element. I love this reading so much. Pile number 3, let me know if you like these, because I'll do them more, because I'm really like, this is really lighting up my inner child. Pile number, I could even do like a music video or something like that. I don't know, let me know what you'd other type of themes like this that you'd like, because I don't mind doing them once in a while, because they're really fun. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Pile number 2. What would pile number 2's character be like in this movie? What would pile number 2's character be like in this Disney movie? What would the character of pile number 2 in this movie be like? You've had 2 cards come out. I was only going to pull 1, but I guess if they've come out for a reason. Yeah, we have healing and rebirth. So it's funny that that's come out. And you know, I was saying about like you'd have, sorry guys, I just knocked the camera. You know, like I was saying, you'd have that kind of like gem on you that would shine bright. And look at that. She literally has that on her crown, and she literally has that on her third eye. So there's something like some sort of gem that would get brighter and brighter the more you found yourself. And I feel like it would be like this kind of like healing journey of finding yourself, and it would cause this rebirth. That's why we had the butterflies. It would be such like a transformative movie. I feel like your character would go on so many different like leaps and turns in regards to this movie that we have here. In the back of the deck we have forgiveness. You may go like you being placed on earth or being placed on land when you're from the water, you're from like a different planet. You may have a lot of anger to the people that sent you there. You may have a lot of anger to like a parent, a mother, a father, a sibling or whatever because of it. Maybe you were being reckless because somebody hurt you. Maybe it was a partner. Maybe it was a childhood or something like that. But you learn forgiveness through that. You learn to, with the number 7 here and that Neptune energy, it's like you learn to see beyond that through this rebirth and this ascension that you kind of go on in the movie. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. What would pile number 2's movie arc, movie story be like? We have the priestess. How are you being called to step up and lead? Yeah, it's this energy of you like growing up and having to find your way. Maybe you have to go on like maybe there's some sort of situation where you come into conflict and you have to kind of like maybe save the day, or maybe you have to it almost feels, it doesn't feel like save the day in the sense like the whole world is suffering. It feels like there's something that you may have to do there that could cause the world to end, but everybody is none the wiser going about their 9 to 5s, but you have to like stop it from happening, kind of like the Matrix. Like everyone in the Matrix, they don't know that there's all of this going on. They're just living their normal Matrix lives. But then Neo and, all of the people, it's like they're running around and doing all of these things to save the day. So it almost kind of feels like that. If you've ever watched like Doctor Who, basically he's like an alien from like another planet that looks like a human. And whenever he lands, wherever he goes, whether it's whatever time period or if they're in another planet, it's like everyone around them may think everything's fine when really they're kind of like saving the day and no one would know. So it's a feeling of that, like you're almost doing all of these things but no one's aware that you're doing it, and it's like this kind of like story arc of being a savior and you know what I mean, tapping into your fullest potential. And it's like not a lot of people would know except for the select people you've let know that you are this alien. I hope it's making sense. I hope that makes sense for you. The back of the deck we have called soul gifts and training. It's time to step up. So it's almost like the earth is like a training thing where they send aliens or sea creatures to kind of like learn, you know what I mean, to kind of learn, to kind of like level up or do something. It's like they'll task you on like a mission type of thing, and you kind of like go there if you're like naughty in some sense, or like not taking life so seriously. And I feel like that's kind of like the journey. So with call, it's like you kind of have no choice, but you have no choice but to step up, and in that you find yourself. It's that type of energy, and it's such like a rebirth. There's a lot of energies at the beginning, like why me, but at the end it's like, oh my god, I get it now, you know what I mean? Like you gain your wings, like this Page of Swords here with the wings. It's like you gain your wings. Pile number, like the magic, I hear like the magic was with me all along, it's that type of thing. Pile number, and you may have little gadgets as well from your home that kind of help you, because they're showing me Doctor Who. If you've ever watched Doctor Who, the Doctor has like this screwdriver. It's called a sonic screwdriver, and he like opens doors. So it's like you'll have something like that, or something little like that you can like zap things with, or maybe you'll have like a Harry Potter invisible cloak, you know what I mean? Or you'll have some sort of wand to create some sort of magic or something like that, because they're showing me Wizards of Waverly Place and Alex's red wand. So there's something like that you'd have with you, or maybe you'd be like, that's so Raven, you'd be able to have little visions and snippets of what's to come type of thing. It's something like that would be very abnormal and alien-y. You'd have it with you to kind of help in some sort of way. Pile number, this is so fun. This one's really cool. I would watch this. I would watch your movie pile 2. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Pile number 2. Pile number 2. If they had a movie, where are you being called to journey to? It's almost like that journey that you never asked for, but you were always like destined to go on. It's that type of feeling. And we have the water here, so it very well could have been, underwater, the sea, you know what I mean? It could have been that, but then we also have the stars up here, so again, planets. But where are you being called to journey to? It's like, I didn't want to go on this journey, but in the end, it's like exactly what I needed, and it was very healing for me. I feel like the movie would be very healing for people, you know. And the initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold, yeah, it's like, you know, you're kind of like taken into this world. I feel like that would be your home planet, and you feel like you're here, everything's mundane. But I feel like, again, it's like what levels you up, and you find out that that world, it was actually in your heart all along. And it was connected to you all along. You were never separate from it. It was always there. There's something like that about you realizing that adventure was always inside of me, or that magic was always inside of me, or my way home was through my heart. You know, it's something like that. I feel like that would be a kind of motto, you know what I mean, of your film. So final card, pile number 2. Pile number 2, please. Sorry if I've said pile number 3 at any point during this reading. I don't know why I keep saying 3 at the same time. I think it's because it's 3 o'clock. So when I'm filming this, so I keep looking at the clock, and it's 3. Or 3 is just a number you're seeing a lot. Maybe that's why I keep saying it, like, because it was 333 on the clock. So maybe you're seeing the spirit number, angel number 333 a lot, and that's why I keep saying it. But pile number 2, please, spirit guides. If pile number 2 had a Disney movie, your card's flown under the table. Let me go grab it. Where are you? Ooh. We have harmonic flight. So maybe in that movie you fall in love with someone on earth who has that same sort of heart or adventure, or you find love with either a particular animal that can talk or it's like a friend that you have, and you make really strong connections with them as like a friend, and I feel like you teach them in the same way to like kind of like tap into that adventure and tap into that, you know what I mean? And it's like you having to go back home, then it's like, we'll never be apart type of thing, you know what I mean? It's almost like that with the infinity symbol. It's something like that, like we're connected through our hearts, you know. It's something like that. Or you would have just like found love there, maybe brought them home or chose to stay. There's just something about that, you finding a connection to someone. Pile number 2. Or maybe you were being reckless because you lost someone, and then you going on that journey and realizing the magic was in you and all of that. You realize that that person was never gone. They were always inside your heart. They were always connected to you energetically, because that's never gone. So there's something about that connection was still within you. Or maybe it was just a part of yourself that you thought that you'd lost, but it was always within you anyway. Maybe it was an inner child or something like that. It would be like a deep movie. There'd be so much humor and action based, but in the end it would be like a very healing movie. It would have a lot of deep themes to it. And we also have the infinite, and again on the infinite card we literally have the infinity symbol, so that's shown up twice on both cards with that being there. So with the infinite card, it's like, again, I just feel like that's ending the reading with that magic was in me all along. Like that was always within me. There's a feeling of that, like I see it now. I see the beauty of life. I see that adventure. I see it all. It was always within me. I did that, you know. It's a feeling of that, and feeling connected to all by the end of it, whereas at the beginning you felt like you'd been taken away from your home, you know what I mean? You've been taken away from that, and realizing it was all within you. It was all connected, because we're all interconnected. So it's been a very deep movie like that, pile 2 for you guys. So that's what I have for you, pile 2. I really hope that you enjoyed. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below, and let me know if you'd like another type of reading like this. I feel like I like to do the guidance readings because they're my favorite, and the starseed readings when I can energetically do them. But like, I feel like movies, like they're not movies like this. Pick-up cards like this are needed because I feel like it gives a level of like escapism, but also it nurtures the inner child. So it's definitely helped me. So let me know if it's done that for you. I hope it did. And let me know if you'd like to see more of them. So that's what I have for you. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching. And hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pile 3, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at if you had your own movie, your own Disney movie, what would the story arc be? What would the journey you'd go on be like? What would your character be like? That's what we're going to be taking a look at today. So you guys chose the father. I'm going to pop that over here just like in the corner so you can still see it. And then I'm going to pull tarot and then some oracle cards. So before I get into any of the cards, when I was opening up to your collective, I was told that you would have some sense of like advancement or gift in your movie. So you'd have like maybe psychic abilities that kind of guide you through that movie. I feel like it would be in some ways action based, but I feel like you would have something kind of guiding you. With pile number 1, it was like you're being guided by like the heart or something like that, or like this deep inner calling. But with you, there's something psychic or celestial. Maybe you have a strong connection to your ancestors in that movie. Maybe you have a strong connection to the spirit world in that movie. We're going to get into it, but there's something about that where you're able to connect in a way that maybe the people around you can't. There's something that you have that is like guiding you, or something that you have that's celestial. When I'm tapping into the setting, I feel like it would either be set in like medieval times, so like Shakespearean times, or like even further back than that, or it would be just somewhere where there was like a lot of tribes, or somewhere in nature. It would be something like that, somewhere in nature. There's a lot of nature around. It feels that way. So pile number 3, please, spirit guides, tap me into the collective of pile number 3. What would pile number 3's Disney movie arc be? What would pile number 3's Disney movie arc be like? What would pile number 3's Disney movie arc? We have the Knight of Wands. I'm going to lay the tarot first before we get in. Pile number 3's Disney movie arc. We have the Chariot. It almost feels like you'd like come from a community, or you'd come from like a land, and there would be people trying to take that land away. Giving me like Avatar, Pocahontas vibes. They're trying to take your land, they're trying to take your home, or maybe they're trying to take your people, or something's happening like that, and I feel like you'd be at the forefront of saving your people, keeping those people at bay. There's like a feeling of that, or doing something in name of your land, or in name of your family or your tribe. So it could like be in comparison to like maybe in this life you've had to like self-sacrifice in some sort of way, or look after siblings, or do a lot of like generational healing or something like that. And I feel like it would progress then into a Disney movie of fighting for like peace on your land, or fighting for something to be brought back to your land that was rightfully theirs, or you know, whether that's like finances, or you know, the heart, the energy, or maybe where you live in your tribe or your family, there's you know, the plants are withering and things like that, and you want to bring the nature back and bring all of that back, and the reason it's been taken away is because of other people. So there's almost this feeling of like, I need to fight for my people, I need to stand up for my people, and there's this feeling of like, I have to be the one to do that, or I'm some sort of leader, or I've got to step up to be some sort of leader. Maybe you have a parent in the movie that would have like left or passed away, or you would have not had anyone like above you. You would have just been born as like a king or a queen, or someone like a leader of like a tribe, or a leader of that kind of like land. And it's like, I've got to like step up and be the one to kind of like bring that back. I've got to bring that heart back. I've got to bring that energy back, that abundance back, the peace back. I've got to be the one to do it. So there's a feeling of that straight away with the Chariot card and the Knight of Wands. Like, I'm on this quest of peace and you know, getting people you know, away. You know what I mean? There's that type of feeling. So pile number 3, please, spirit guides. Yeah, there's this feeling of like, I'm fulfilling a role, and I don't feel I'm ready, but I have no choice. There's a feeling of that. Pile number 3, pile number 3, and there's a lot of energy of like, you know, like Harry Potter in the last movie when he's gonna die, but then, well, he doesn't really die, he just, the Horcrux part of him dies, and before that moment where he has to make that big sacrifice, all of like his guardians in spirit are around him, like his parents, the werewolf guy, I think his name is Seamus, Sirius Black, you know, they're all around him, and they're like, well, with you always. There's a feeling of that, like you would be guided through the movie through ancestors, kind of similar to pile number 1, but pile number 1 was more so like through the spirit and the nature spirits and that type of thing. But with pile 3, it's like my ancestors, I'm being guided with them, I'm being guided to bring that back. There's a feeling of that. Pile number 3, Yeah, and there's almost feeling of like whatever it was that was a threat, whatever it was that was it's kind of like again, like they're taking me to like Avatar, and whatever it was that was a threat, they're taking away the abundance in the sense of in the, like, how do I explain this? In like Avatar, the people that lived in that world, Pandora, like the Na'vi, they were very connected to their home tree where they lived. They were very connected to nature and that place that they lived. You know what I mean? Like that tree, the people around, like they were connected to that. It was a part of them. They saw it as a reflection of them. And then the humans that were coming there, they were trying to cut it down to mine it for like gold and stuff like that, which was so different in comparison. Like they were connected by heart. It meant something that wasn't physical, whereas the people that were trying to cut it down, it didn't really mean anything to them. It was greed. So there's a feeling of whatever it is that's a threat to your land or your people or whatever it is, your peace, your heart, the actions of them is coming from greed. Same as Pocahontas, you know what I mean? It's that energy of like it's coming from greed, and it's like pure hearts are being up against like people that are just coming into it for greed. There's a feeling of that, like a battle of it. So it would be some sort of like battle in a way. And it's reminding me as well of Narnia. Do you know when they have that battle in Narnia? I can't remember the plot of Narnia too much, but you know when, like, I remember like there was a scene at the end where they were all on ice. So it was like all of the good people in Narnia and then all of the bad people with that queen that wore the white dress, and they're in this kind of battle. There's a feeling of that, like it would end as some sort of battle, and I feel like you'd be some sort of leader. But it's like you're fighting from the heart. It's not like gruesome. It's like I'm fighting from the heart. Like I'm, you know, it's like that savior type of energy. Pile, which is actually the same as Avatar now that I'm thinking of it. They have a fight like that. And they're fighting from the heart. Pile number 3, that just jumped out. We have the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups. One more card, please, Spirit Guides. One more card. Pile number 3, please, Spirit Guides. What would pile number 3's movie arc be? What would pile number 3's movie arc be? What would pile number 3's... Yeah, 10 of Pentacles. It's like whatever it is, this land, this tribe, like you're connected to it because it's a part of you. I feel like your being in this movie, your character in this movie is very compassionate for a tribe, very compassionate for the people around her, very compassionate. And maybe people are being taken sick, or people are going missing, or people are, you know, becoming corrupt, or there's something about them. It's kind of like lurking its way in, and you're like, not my people. Like it's just such a beautiful heart coming through. It's like, not my people, like we have to do something. It's like you kind of form this like allegiance. It's also reminding me Shrek, you know, that final movie. I didn't even know this movie existed till last year. My sister was like, have you ever watched Shrek Forever After? I was like, no, because my sister loves Shrek. And then she was like, yeah, it's a thing. I was like, I've never heard of that in my life, but I watched it. It wasn't the best movie, I'm not gonna lie, but there was a scene where like Fiona and all the other like ogres, they're like, Rumpelstiltskin is like playing his flute to try and get them to be like taken away, and like I don't know, whatever they were doing with them, and they have to like fight, you know what I mean, for each other. It's like that tribe, and they're looking out for each other. So there's this feeling that you'd be in some sort of tribe like that. When it comes to what you'd look like, what your outfit would be, kind of similar to pile number 1's in the way it would be very earthy, very earthy, like Moana styled type of outfit. I feel like it would be male or female, it would be like that, very earthy, like earth materials, if that makes sense. Could have like a, you know, like Peter Pan, whether you're like male or female, you'd have like Peter Pan type of thing, you know, when at the end of Peter Pan, when Peter and all them, they fight like the pirates, it's like a feeling of that. It's like you're all kind of like in kind of like greenery, like what I guess Adam and Eve would have worn or something like that. I don't know, like a lot of greenery coming through in regards to the outfits. But there's something you're protecting that's like connects you all together, whether it's the land, your hearts, you know, your tribe in general. There's something like that, and it's kind of like this kind of like battle, it feels. Yeah, let's the back of the deck. We have the Hanged Man at the back of the deck. The Hanged Man. There's something about you having a connection to spirit in some sort of way. Like everywhere, everyone in this tribe, everyone on this land would have a gift. And I feel like your gift would be like a connection to like your ancestors, or being able to psychically see things. It's like kind of like That's So Raven when she has the visions, something like that, where you're able to see them, or you have something with you that can like call upon them. There's a lot of like the energy of our lands, the ancestors of our lands, something like that, or the ancestors of like who came before us. They're all connected through our heart, and we need to like bring that back. Maybe you would have been living on that island in poverty for a really long time, and it's like, I need to bring it back, not just to have me restored, but for all my ancestors too. So there's a feeling of that. So I feel like that could correlate with you doing a lot of like a lot of shadow work in your current lifetime to kind of bring abundance back into your life in this life that, you know, you're watching this in now, or happiness, or beautiful connections instead of karmic ones that have followed you down. There's something about that. I feel like that's how it would progress. It's 4:44 on the clock. So if you've been seeing that number, that's for you. Whenever I see 4:44 for me, I represent it as like my spirit guides are around. So I feel like that's almost indicating it's something to do with a connection to ancestors and spirit guides and bringing what was lost back in some sort of way. Yeah, let's pull some more cards. So pile number 3, let's use these ones first. Pile number 3. What would pile number 3's story arc be in their movie? What would pile number 3's story arc be in their movie? I feel like you would be tested a lot in this movie, in regards to how pure your heart is, but you'd stand tall because you see things through optimism and love. It's like your heart's so strong, and that carries you through the movie. You know what I mean? That fight. It's funny because it's coming through in the sense of like, I'm serious and I'm practical and I'm gonna win this battle, but it's coming from this huge heart. Like, I have to fight because it's my heart fighting. It's for what I love. It's for the people I love. It's for what I know to be the rightful like karma of people, which is people being able to do what they want, people being able to live the way that they want, people being able to love who they want. And there's a feeling of that, like bringing the power back to the people. There's almost even a sense of like a bit of Robin Hood here. It kind of feels like that, bringing the power back to the people, bringing the heart back to the people. And I feel like there'd be a lot kind of like testing you in a way, but it's like your heart kind of like reigns strong the whole time. You know what I mean? It feels like that. But I feel like the whole movie, there'd be some sort of great threat that gets it more intense, and then you kind of like overcome it, like Harry Potter type of thing. You know, you have the good wizards and the bad wizards, the battle of like Hogwarts at the end, and they're all it's like that. You all kind of come together. I even see like ancestors there in spirit like also being behind you in this fight type thing. It feels like that. Pile number, like, I feel like right at the end of your movie there would have been some sort of battle that was like the battle of all battles, and you would like triumph. It feels like that, and then the ending would be like everything being in bliss and back to normal. It's something like that. Pile number 3, what would pile number 3's movie arc be if they were in a Disney movie? Here we have Peacock, Let It Shine. And what was I saying about your heart would lead the way? You'd have this really big heart, and then we have the peacock with the heart shining out. Yeah, 100%. It's like you may not even feel fit for the challenge in the beginning of the movie. You're like, I can't take on this person's role. Maybe the parent, you know, is taken away. Maybe you didn't in your normal life like have a strong connection to parents, or they weren't able to provide you with what you needed, so you had to stand up and lead in some sort of way in your current life. So I feel like that would progress into the movies, like a parent isn't there and I have to fulfill their role. I have to take on their role. I have to do better and teach myself the way because I haven't got someone else to do it for me. I haven't got a leader to you know, lead me, so I have to become that leader. And I feel like it's coming from the heart. Definitely some sort of warrior film it would be like. That's what I'm picking up. Pile number 3, and I feel like you grow, you spread your wings with the peacock energy, you step into yourself and you do things that you never even knew you could have done. You know what I mean? Because you weren't bandaged in cotton wool. You know, you were able to kind of like tap into all of those sides of you, and they all got ignited one step at a time through the movie, which kind of creates you. Maybe at the beginning people didn't think you were able to be like the queen or the chief or the leader or whatever the case, and then at the end it's like you earn those stripes and more, and people are like in gratitude to you, or there's something like that. Or even just the people from your past like being in gratitude for. There's something about it, but it's your heart that leads you there. You bring the abundance back. Pile number, it's like a proper hero's journey type of I just heard strength and honor, like it's like a hero type of movie and you would be the hero. Pile number 3, oh, I wasn't supposed to actually pull another animal card, but I wasn't thinking, and I ended up pulling another one. So you can have this. It's Spider Spirit, make your dreams real. So do you see how he's like weaving a web there? Do you see how he's doing that? It's like you have a dream for like a better future for your people and yourself. And it's like, okay, I'm going to have to take this on. You know what I mean? I'm going to have to. There's a threat out there and I have to take it on. So I'm going to do that and I'm going to weave those webs. I'm going to do it. Pile number 3, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number 3. What would the character of pile number 3 be like? What traits would they have? There's something about you having some sort of jewelry. So I don't know if that's tribal jewelry or maybe that's something your own ancestors wore in the life that you're watching this in now. It could be that, or there just would be like a lot of like jewelry in what you would wear. I feel like I said, your outfit would be very earthy, leaves and things, Peter Pan-esque, you know, Peter Pan chic. But then you'd also have like, there's something about jewels being on the wrists or the rings or something like that. There'd be something like that in regards to what you'd wear. But similar to pile number 1, you'd be barefoot. I remember seeing pile number 1, they had bare feet. They're saying the same for you, pile 3. Like, you'd be barefoot. You'd have like nothing on your feet. It'd be that type of thing. Pile number 3. Yeah, it's like you have a hearty connection to the creatures around you as well. And it's like you're protecting them as much as you're protecting your people, because they are your people at the same time. And even like, I feel like you'd have a connection with like plants and trees. You'd speak to them, like you'd have that connection to them. So it's like you're looking after them. It's for them too. Do you know what I mean? There's a hearty resonance here. Pile number 3, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number 3. What would pile number 3's character be like in this movie? What would they be like? What would pile number 3's... Oh, we have focus. So like I said, there's this leadership energy coming through with a bow and arrow here and focus, a leadership energy. And with the 4 representing the 4th house, it's like family. You know what I mean? It's like family and ancestors. Like that's where it's coming from. There's like a hearty energy here. And we also have water. So I feel like you're connected to people through their emotions. You're really like compassionate with people. You're very empathetic towards people. Like you're very like that. I feel like maybe people don't determine you as like a warrior in the beginning because you're the compassionate type. You're the one with the beautiful heart. So people are like, this person isn't fit to be a warrior and be in that masculine energy because they're too divine feminine. They're too in their heart. So people don't think that you'd be able to save the day, but it's your heart that was so strong that ended up saving the day. So it could be in this particular lifetime that you're watching this in, you're a very compassionate, healing and loving person, but those things, they seem invisible to people that can't see them. So then people may not see that within you, whereas it's like your heart in this lifetime that I'm talking to you in now is actually going to take you very big places because of that. And then people are going to be like, wow, you did that. Oh my God, like you've changed a lot of lives. Like you've helped a lot of people. You've held space for a lot of people. So in this life, I feel like it's that way. But in this movie, it's like, you're that warrior who like, do you know what I mean? You're like that warrior who leads with a heart and fights through the heart to be able to bring that peace and love back. We have 2 3s at the top. So you may see the number 33 a lot. But that's coming through. And when we look at 33, it adds up to 6, which is the energy of Venus. So it's love and compassion. That's your gift, you know. Let's pull some more cards. So pile number 3. What would the Disney movie of pile number 3 be? Oh, your card leaped. Oh, we have 2 actually. We have deep cellular healing, Arcturus energy, physical and emotional healing. So like I was saying, being very, very connected to your heart space. And I feel like you would have some sort of healing powers. I'm almost being told like you may be a Reiki healer in this life. So in like a Disney movie, you may have like healing hands in that life. Like somebody gets like scarred from the fight and you're able to, I'm almost being shown like the Phoenix in Harry Potter, Fawkes. He cries on Harry's scar and then Harry's scar heals because they're tears of healing energy. You may have like an energy like that maybe gets unlocked through the movie. So little gifts will come to you through the movie that you unlock, like having healing tears or healing hands or something like that. You'll realize that. And I feel like they would be kind of gifts from the ancestors that would have been muddied and covered up because of, you know, there would have been like a lot going on the land, like things, you know, being taken away and not having like the abundance. You wouldn't be able to see that within yourself. Or there's something about that the more
bravery you show, the more that gets unlocked within you that actually came from your ancestors that they may have had taken away from them. It's something like that. Yeah, it would be beautiful. I'm almost being shown like in this lifetime it's such a healing journey, and the more you heal, the more you bring back those gifts that maybe your ancestors in this lifetime had, but then they had it taken away from them, like their own love for themselves, their own power, their own psychic gifts, and it got muddied through, you know, low self-confidence, poverty, things like that. And I feel like the more you heal in this lifetime, the more those things are coming back to you, the more your psychic gifts are coming through, the more you're believing in yourself, the more money comes in. So in a Disney arc, it would be like, you know, the land is full of like, there's no fruits growing, there's no fruits being bared, there's no harvest, there's none of that. And you're like, I have to bring that back in my ancestors' name. So all those gifts that they had that were lost, you find them through that journey. That's very beautiful. That's how they're giving me the duality of this life and the Disney life, of how it would kind of, you know, progress. We also have the Seas of Mintaka that flew out as well. Seeing potential, bringing unconsciousness to light. So it's like the reason that you are able to triumph is because the people that are taking that away from you, the people that are creating this like mess on your land, are the people that are creating the frustration and the chaos and the upset. I feel like they're not able to see beyond. You'll be able to see beyond. You'll be able to see compassion, feel. You have all of that like accompanied, whereas they don't. So you're able to see the blind spots. It's that type of thing. So with bringing unconsciousness to light, it's like you see beyond that. You're able to like use that to kind of like guide you in a way, if that makes sense. And because of that, like I said, these gifts are coming throughout the movie. So it's like you're able to like have the wisdom from the ancestors because it comes through, and you're able to see you know, all of that. Like you're able to have like visions that kind of unlock, or the healing powers, they begin to unlock because, you know, you were staying true to yourself and you were showing bravery for your ancestors. And we also have Earth, learning how to be human in the world but not of it. So you may have felt like alien, you may have felt like you were too sensitive, too empathic. That's why people may have thought, oh, you know, that person, you know, yes, okay, they're very sweet and kind, but that's not a gift, that's not something that can bring them abundance. And it actually does, you know what I mean? It actually does. So there's a feeling of that with unearthed, not unearthed, earth. Pile number three. What is the storyline of pile number three's? What is the storyline of pile number three's Disney movie, if they had one? What is the storyline of pile number three's Disney movie? We have the Age of Light. You've been training for this for lifetimes. Yeah, so again, it's almost this energy of people coming before you, trying to battle, trying to win, trying to bring that abundance back, and they never did. So no one cared to go on that journey because they knew it was like a lost cause, and they were just accepting their fate that at one point this Ten of Pentacles was going to burn out completely, and you were like, no, you know, no, I'm going to take it on, So it's that feeling of the movie. It's like, I'm going to take this on, I'm not settling for this. And I feel like you're called to it through spirit and through, you know, that energy. It's reminding me of Moana as well a little bit, when she goes in the ocean and like there's something that she does for like her family, and I feel like it's that, but it's also referencing like the action base of like Mulan and things. It feels like that. So let's pull one final card. Pile number three, please. Pile number three, please. Spirit guides. What is the movie arc of pile number three? What is the movie arc of pile number three? What is the movie arc of pile number three's Disney movie? What is the movie arc? I think you've had two as well. You're getting a lot in twos. I don't know if you see 22 a lot, but all of your cards are popping out in twos for some reason. We have Trust Your Innocence. So it's that heart. Why don't, you know, when we look at like the heart energy, it's that inner child. It's that fruitful energy and abundance. Like I can create abundance wherever I want to. It's that innocence, that inner child that brings you that. And that's what you have as the advantage, which has you win in the end. And I feel like even in this lifetime, like your innocence, your purity, your heart is what brings you the abundance and allows you to go into those dark waters, to defeat all of those, you know, demons, so that you can heal not just yourself, but your family line before you. Because through healing yourself, you heal your family line. So I feel like even in this life, you have a beautiful heart, and I feel like you've done a lot of work, a lot of heavy work that people may have thought that person wouldn't be able to do all of that, they're too sweet, but you did it and bounced back with a beautiful, beautiful big heart, because it was your heart that was actually strong, but people were viewing it as weak. So in the movie, in the Disney movie, it would be like, that person's too nice and compassionate, they'd never be able to take on a journey like that, but you do it because of how strong your heart is. So there's that underestimated energy, which you kind of like use to kind of like win, because you see into those blind spots, you know. So there's that. And the other card that came out was Starseed. Do you see how they're climbing up to the star? So again, it's like you're guided beyond the physical realm in that life. I feel like it would be set on Earth from like back in the day, but I feel like you would see beyond that. You would see, you know, with the eye here, it's like you'd follow your intuition and you'd see beyond it, and you'd call to the stars or your ancestors to kind of guide you at certain points. It would be like that. And I feel like maybe you do that in this lifetime. You call to your spirit guides to guide you and help you, because maybe the people around you don't understand what you're up to. So there's that comparison coming through. And we also have awakened awareness here with the eye coming through. It's like you triumph because of your heart, and you just have this deep knowing that you can like bring that back, you can bring that abundance back. So with awakened awareness, I feel like a lot of people towards the end of the movie realize the extent that you've had like gone to, and then see that within you and have gratitude for you at the end of the movie. Like it feels like that pile number 3. So yeah, that's what I had for you, pile number 3. I really hope that you enjoyed. I'm sending you guys all of my love. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did like it. Like I said, I'm going to be channeling like a movie clip that I can like kind of put in comparison to what this movie for you would be like. So that will be in the description. And also your theme song to your movie is also going to be channeled and in the description as well. So if you want to check that out after this, that's cool. But otherwise, guys, I hope you guys had a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pal 4, welcome to your reading. So we are going to be taking a look at what would your Disney movie arc be, what would your Disney storyline be, what character would you play, what would your story be if you were in that franchise. So you guys chose the weather apple. I call it the weather apple. I'm going to pop that up here and we are going to get straight in. Okay, so pile number 4, please, spirit guides. Pile number 4, tap me into the collective of pile number 4. What would pile number 4's story arc be? I'm almost being told there would be like a plot twist, like the beginning of your movie would be very different to the end, or your character in the beginning would be very different in the end. They'll almost reference in the beginning of it, you may take on this presence of like a Snow White or like a Cinderella or someone that's very sweet and innocent, and then towards the end you're taking on a completely different role. You're taking on the role of someone very strong-minded, somebody that's doesn't take any ish, almost like Princess Jasmine. You know what I mean? It feels like that. It's like you watch the movie thinking it's going to be maybe a romantic story or this love story or this, it's just another damsel in distress, whether you're male or female, it's just one of those. It turns out completely different. Like maybe the person that was the romantic interest that maybe you were romantically interested in that movie turns out to be the bad guy, and you kind of like defeat them in some sort of way. There's such a twist. It's almost as well like a little bit of the Labyrinth when you know, Sarah and like Jareth, and like at the end she realizes he has no power over her. There's that type of feeling, but I feel like you're coming through to kind of like level up in the movie, and then you're coming through as like Princess Jasmine, like wanting to rule her land and not needing, you know, no man, you know what I mean? So it's that type of feeling. You go in from maybe being naive at the beginning to being someone that still has that pure heart even stronger, but it's like you're no longer naive and you don't let anyone take any, you don't take any ish. It's that type of thing. So there's a feeling of that coming through. Pile, yeah, because they're showing me with the apple as well that you chose. It's like the evil witch when she gives the apple to Snow White, and she innocently just thinks that she's being nice, whereas like you may think, you know, see no evil in that and just be like, oh yeah, I'll eat the apple. But then it's like, whereas that's kind of like the plot of the movie, and then the prince saves the day by kissing her and waking her up. It's like something to do with you waking yourself up, you know what I mean, and you like doubling back down on that evil queen. There's like a feeling of that. And I feel like, because I feel like you may be underestimated in your life, even in this life that you're watching this. So I feel like in the movie, it may be like the trailer seems like, oh, you know, I'm gonna there's this princess or prince and they fall in love and blah blah blah, but it's like, actually no, I was the savior, I didn't even need that person. You know what I mean? It's like, it's that type of feeling, like underestimated, even in the movie clip, you know, lots of plot twists and turns. They're also referencing like Coco. I don't know if you've ever watched the movie Coco. I don't want to spoil it for you, but there's someone who he looks up to and believes is this great person, and they end up not being that. They end up not being who they say they were. And I'm not going to go any deeper than that, just because I don't want to spoil it for you. But Miguel, he you know, he goes from being innocent, and then he has more like discernment then, do you know what I mean? And he like, I don't know, he kind of like saves the day, if that makes sense. I hope I just made sense to you, but it's that type of feeling. Pile number 4, I haven't even pulled the card yet, sorry for knocking the camera, I was putting my leg down. Pile number 4, please, spirit guides, what would the movie arc of pile number 4 be? What would the movie arc of pile number 4, the apple pile, what would the storyline for pile number 4 be in their Disney movie? We have the Two of Swords. Yeah, it's like not seeing things clearly at the beginning and putting your trust maybe in the wrong people in the beginning, which has you come back out fighting, not in a vengeful and angry way, but in a way of like, no, you're not going to dim my light, you're not going to dim my happiness, you're not going to dim my peace, like you're not going to do that, you know. Pile number 4, what would the movie arc of pile number 4? We have the 7 of Pentacles. What would the movie arc be of pile number 4 in their Disney movie? What would the movie arc be of pile number 4? I just showed King Neptune for some reason. 10 of Wands. When I think of King Neptune, I just always think of SpongeBob, that king. Pile number 4. What would the movie arc of pile number 4 be? If they had a Disney movie, what would the storyline be for pile 4? It's like the other piles in a sense of going on a quest, but it's like, it's finding yourself and realizing with this Queen of Pentacles at the back of the deck that you never needed anybody in the first place. And I feel like you may go into a lot of like plot holes or situations where people try to steal your light in the movie or try to like keep you trapped in some sort of way. It's reminding me of that. Again, they're taking me to like the labyrinth, and she goes down all those little stairways and stuff, and there's almost like a feeling of like putting your trust in people who you think are the good guys and that are going to help you, but then they don't, and you have to like save yourself from it and get your way out of it. Maybe in this life you've seen a lot of love and potential in people, and it didn't end up being the case. So I feel like your movie would consist in that until you realize that that light you were seeing in everyone else was it within yourself. So this peace energy here that's kind of following us here, it's like you realize that you were that magic and you never actually needed anyone in the first place. And it's also reminding me as well of like Chihiro from Spirited Away, when she goes and, you know, she's very timid and childlike and she's scared of everything, but in the end she like saves the day and she becomes very strong. And you know what I mean, it's that type of energy, and I feel like she learns to walk it alone, you know what I mean, she's not scared anymore. And there's that type of feeling coming from you, like you realize in your movie the power that you have. You, in the beginning, you thought that the power was in other people and you needed other people's guidance and help, but all they did was brought you disappointment. And the guidance that you actually needed, that love and strength that you needed, it was actually yours all along. So I feel like that would be the plot of your movie pile number 4. And I feel like there'd be a lot of twists and turns and challenges, where people may keep you in the dark, people may try and like dim you from your light in the movie, you know what I mean? Or you may be going through I was going to say a maze, but I guess I'll just use the labyrinth analogy, because that was kind of like a maze. And then you get sent back to square one, because it was showing me like snakes and ladders, like going back to square one. And it's like because of the people that you were trusting. So then you learn to kind of like take those shortcuts and think wiser and see beyond the box. Like there's this feeling of, let me try this. You know what I mean? Let me, you know, like the people may have the power over you, thinking that it's like, how do I explain this? But I'm finding it hard to put into words. People would like have the power over you in this movie, or trying to elude you to looking at something in some sort of way. But it's like the more you get wiser, the more you fall back. It's like you see things from a higher perspective, and you outsmart everybody by being so wise. There's this feeling of like Alice in Wonderland in a way. I feel like it would be presented as Alice in Wonderland, but the people that you were trusting in Wonderland weren't the people you should have trusted. It feels like that. That's literally how it feels. And I feel like through that you gain more wisdom and more wisdom, so you can see beyond things. So then when people are stepping towards you, trying to like befriend you so that they can send you back to the beginning, like as you go along the movie, you see past it, you see beyond it, and you're able to shine above that, you know what I mean? And I feel like you may make like friends on the way, like true-hearted friends. It kind of feels that way. Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm picking up. I want to get deeper, so let's get into the oracle cards. Paul pile number 4. Is someone you called Paul? I literally just went Paul. Pile number 4. Oh, your cards just leaked out. Yeah, I feel like it would be like a very topsy-turvy type of movie, like Alice in Wonderland. Very like the cards like trippy. I feel like that would be the colour scheme. I feel like you'd have on like a really cool outfit, because I've been channeling outfits of like what you'd have. I feel like it was different for everyone, but I feel like for you guys, pile 4, it would be very like, you know, like Alice in Wonderland's literal outfit. She has like the blue kind of dress. You'd have something like that. Like you have like flared pants, or you'd have like, they're taking me here to look for inspiration. Your outfit would be very colourful and very bright, and I feel like there'd be a lot of like bright like blues and pinks and things like that. I don't know why I'm being taken to like heart chakra colour, so maybe like a lime green, bright green, or a light pink or hot pink, a colour like that. I feel like the colour scheme would be very Wonderland trippy, you know, I'm just taking mushrooms type of thing. Like everything feels very electric in this world. It would be like a topsy-turvy world. I feel like it wouldn't be set on Earth. It would be in this kind of like mystical land, you know what I mean, that you just end up going on. It feels like that. So the next card that we have is the Bee Spirit, sweet results await. So we have that here. So it's like it's the whole point of the movie as well. It's like falling in love with the journey, not the destination. I don't even feel there would be much emphasis on where you were headed to. I just feel like the journey in itself, and going through that maze and going through that Wonderland, I feel like it would have you learn so much about yourself and how strong you are with this Queen of Pentacles here, and learn how strong you are, and learn all these gifts that you have, and it would kind of like build your character so much. And the sweet result at the end of it was you finding yourself and knowing that no one else has control over you, and it wasn't other people, it was you. You know what I mean? Because we have the number 7 here, which is ruled by Neptune. Neptune, when we look at like Neptune energy, that's, you know, it can be like illusions and distortions, and I feel like it begins that way. But as you learn to refine and understand and use that mystical energy to your advantage, you're able to kind of like double back, and it kind of gives you a lot of wisdom. And I feel like that would be your movie, pile 4. The back of the deck we have love is all around. I feel like a lot of that, I guess, what's the word, that illusion that you're creating, it's the illusion of your heart. You see the good in people, you know what I mean? I feel like that's where it's coming from, with the Nightingale Spirit. So let's pull some more cards. Let's do the Goddess Oracle. Pile number 4, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number 4, please show me what characteristics pile number 4's person would have. Please show me the characteristics that pile number 4's person would have. It's giving me very Alice in Wonderland vibes. Pile number 4. Ooh, we have stillness. Yeah, I just feel like your soul would just be a very, very peaceful, I feel like your character would be very, very peaceful. And I love how I said soul, because I feel like your soul in this lifetime is very peaceful, sees the goodness in everybody, you know what I mean, wants peace for everybody. And I feel like in this wonderful world of all of these things, I just feel like it kind of gets lost in the sauce until you refine it and use it to your advantage. Something that you didn't look at as a gift, maybe looked at it as a curse, ended up being a gift, you know. We also have Gaia here at the back of the deck, and I love the enchantment like images. I know it's like Mother Earth, but I love the like enchanted energies here. So it's almost like whatever it is, I feel like you're seeing beyond the world that you're going into. It feels like a Wonderland. I feel like that would be your movie, but I feel like you're seeing beyond that. Like the creatures that you meet, like, you get connected to. Do you know, like, in Alice in Wonderland, and she has, like, the flowers and she speaks to them and all of that, there's this feeling of, like, you connect into, like, these little things around you. Like, maybe you'd have, like, a talking bee. Like, yours would be very weird and wonderful. Like, it feels Aquarian. I feel like your movie would be very innovative in that sense. Not something that would have been done before. I feel like your movie would stand out among the others that would be, like, you know, put out. It feels like that. And I feel like you're creating your own kind of, like, world within you. That's how it feels. Pile number 4. What would pile number 4's movie arc be like? What would pile number 4's movie arc be like? What would pile number 4's movie story be like? The Disney movie. We have The Great Gathering. It's all coming together. Intuitive hits, soul tribe. I feel like through the journey, you'd find your soul tribe. You'd start on your own. You'd have people taken from you. You'd continue to go it alone, and then ever so often, the more you realized who you were, the more you realized, you know, to stand in your own power and see beyond, you'd have, like, little companions that would join you. So then the end of the movie, you'd kind of have a bunch of people with you that really see you for you and aren't trying to take anything from you. And maybe they were cast aside or got lost in that wonderland or labyrinth or, you know, weird little world. They would have got lost there too and got lost in the sauce, and you kind of find each other at one point the more you learn who you are. You know what I mean? It feels like that. Pile number 4. Pile number, I've got such a dry throat. 2 seconds, guys. I'm just gonna drink some drink. I don't know whether you guys need to have a sip of water, and I'm picking up on it, so if you do, take this second to just have a sip of water. Just spilt it all down my neck. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Okay. Pile number 4. What would pile number 4's Disney movie be? What would pile number 4's Disney movie story be? What would pile number 4's Disney movie? All paths lead home. Inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze within. The more you believe in yourself, I feel like you find your way just that little bit more, and you find that wonderland and that journey, that labyrinth was actually a journey back to yourself and coming back to yourself, and it was all a reflection of yourself in the end. You know, like, it could have all been a dream when you wake up at the end of the movie, something like that. But it kind of, like, guides you home to who you are, that type of thing. And again, it's reminding me of Chihiro when she goes into the spirit world, and I feel like it kind of guides her home into who she's supposed to be. So there's that feeling with all paths lead you home. It's like a journey back to self, and the wonderland of the labyrinth is just a reflection of that journey you're going on. In the back of the deck, we have fall into my arms, surrender, holding the opposites, extremes of life. And you see all those beings there as well? I almost feel like there may be, like, a lot of trapped souls or something, like, in the wonderland, in the labyrinth, and by you freeing yourself, you free everybody else that got trapped there. You know, like Coraline, when the evil mother, like, traps the souls of those kids. It's a very dark movie, that the mother, like, traps the souls of those children, but by Coraline freeing herself, she frees those souls too. So there's, like, a feeling of that in that wonderland, like, you're freeing those souls as well just by becoming who you were supposed to be. It's that type of thing. And it could be like a representation of you doing generational karma work, like inner work, shadow work in this lifetime, and you realizing who you are helps liberate your timeline and your family from not knowing who they were, you know what I mean, and being in situations where people took their light. So it may be something that is mirrored from your current life that comes up in the movie. So let's pull one final card. I love this. I would so watch this. It's fine. Did you ever watch as a kid the Magic Roundabout? It's that type of colour scheme with those type of beings, like Alice in Wonderland, Magic Roundabout, that type of thing. I don't remember the plot of Magic Roundabout, but I know there was, like, some sort of dog. And it's like that, mixed with the labyrinth. And there was another movie, Spirited Away. It's like all those, like, bundled together. And it's quite hard to put a finger on your movie compared to the others. It's weird and wonderful, and it's a journey, you know. Pile number... You know, like Dorothy, when she goes down the yellow brick road and she's on her own, and then towards the end of the movie, she has the lion with her, she has the You know, she has the Tin Man. She has all of that. It feels like that. Yeah, so like you may have had your confidence taken from you from these people, or your heart taken from you from these people that try to like dim it. Whereas like the person next to you, like I'm thinking of like the lion who didn't have courage, like they may have had their power taken away from them, and you know what I mean? Someone could have their voice taken away from them. It's kind of like that. I should direct movies, I swear. But it's that type of thing, and you kind of go down that kind of journey, down that path, and you don't just save yourself, you save, you know, the little friends you've made as well. It's kind of like that. So while the people around you then at the end, they get their courage back, they get their voice back, they get all of that back, you get your heart back because you realize that it was never actually gone. You know what I mean? Or you get your power back because you realize it was never actually gone, because if it was actually gone, you never would have taken that path. So it's kind of like that. It was like it was always within. It's that type of thing. Pal 4 for you guys. Oh my god, I swear I should be a director. I'm loving this, and my spirit guides obviously, but I'm really enjoying this. Pile number 4. Let me know if you want more of these type of videos, by the way. I think they're really healing for the inner child to kind of draw a comparison like that. Pile 4, final card. What would the movie plot of pile number 4's movie be? Earth Star Chakra, initiation. And look at the eye there. It's like, I'm just hearing like the soul knows the way. The soul knows the way. Earth Star Chakra. It's like that it was in you all along. Like, do you know what I mean? Like going on that path, you always had it within you. People tried to dim that light that was emitting from you on that journey by sending you back to the front or having you lose hope, and you never did. Which had you gain so much. That would be the movie. And the back of the deck we have Sacral Chakra, Core of Creation. I feel like the movie, because I feel like in this lifetime, pile number 4, like who you are, like as I channel you, you're someone that sees a lot of colour in the world. You're somebody that's very artistic. You're somebody that's very innovative and does things differently. I feel like because of that, that would be in your movie. Like I'm shown colour schemes of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Alice in Wonderland, the Magic Roundabout. Like it's all weird and wonderful. It's that type of color scheme, and I feel like your creativity would like show in that. In regards to your outfit, it would be really cool and different to, you know what I mean, everything else. Like you'd really stand out. And I feel like, do you know, like when people dress up on Halloween, they dress up as their favorite character, and you always have that one character in a movie that has like a really cool outfit. Like Harley Quinn's outfit's very notorious. The Harry Potter like glasses with the scar and the wand, that's very notorious. I feel like your outfit would be very notorious and be worn a lot. You know what I mean? I'm almost being shown, I don't know if you're like a female watching this, or you wear like feminine clothes watching this. I don't know if you've ever seen Lil' Kim when she wears that purple outfit with the purple wig. Something along the lines of that I feel your outfit would be, and I feel like you'd have really colourful hair, or like a pink hair or blue hair or green hair. It feels like that. It would be very weird and wonderful like that. It just feels that way. So that's what I have for you, pile number 4. I will have your channeled theme song to your movie in the description box, as well as a movie clip that I like can channel and think of that would best represent your journey in that movie. So I'll have those 2 in the description box. So hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed, comment down below if you liked it and you'd like to see one of these again, and if it resonated with your current life. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching.